My beloved, you are not here by accident. You did not stumble upon these words by chance. I drew you here because your heart has been whispering cries too deep for words, and I have heard everyone. Yes, I see the weariness in your soul, the ache that lingers even when you're surrounded by others, the silent battles you fight beneath your smile. You have longed for a sign, a breakthrough, a moment where heaven kisses earth and reminds you that your story is not over. This is that moment. You are exactly where you need to be. This message is the confirmation your spirit has been craving. I see the heaviness you carry, not just the kind that can be named or explained, but the kind that settles deep into your chest and quietly drains the color from your days. You've done your best to push through it, to stay strong, to keep your head high while your soul quietly aches. And though you've smiled for others and kept moving forward, you know that something inside has been crumbling slowly, silently. This sorrow, this persistent ache, has stayed longer than it was ever meant to. But I want you to hear me now. I'm not standing at a distance, waiting for you to be okay again. I'm right here, closer than your next breath, and I'm reaching into the deepest parts of your heart to pull out what's been trying to bury your joy. This pain you feel, it didn't go unnoticed. I saw every tear that slipped quietly when no one was looking. I heard the silent prayers you didn't even have words for, and I've never been indifferent to your suffering. There's a divine reason you're hearing this now, because I'm not content to watch you survive when I created you to live fully, freely, and joyfully. The anguish that's held you back, the sadness that's clouded your perspective, it's not part of the identity I've written over you. You were never meant to live weighed down by emotional storms that refuse to pass. You were meant to soar, to breathe deeply, to rise in boldness and beauty, reflecting the light I placed inside you. There's been a war inside you, a struggle between what your spirit knows and what your mind battles with. You try to trust me, and still, the fear whispers. You try to hope, and yet the grief grips you again. But listen to me, just because the storm has been relentless doesn't mean it's stronger than me. Just because it's been there a long time doesn't mean it gets to stay. I am the God who lifts burdens. I'm not just offering comfort, I'm offering removal. I'm here to pull that sorrow from the roots, to untangle the thoughts that have convinced you it will always feel like this. You are not broken beyond repair. You're not too far gone or too exhausted for me to reach. You haven't disappointed me with your sadness, and your weakness doesn't scare me. In fact, this is exactly where my strength begins to shine through. This is where transformation happens. The kind that doesn't just put a bandage over pain, but that rewrites your story from the inside out. You won't have to pretend anymore. You won't have to fake joy while drowning in silence. I came to give you beauty instead of ashes, joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. I've seen how hard it's been for you to keep believing that better days exist when all you've felt is survival. But I want you to trust me enough to let go, not of me, but of the lie that this sadness is permanent. I know it's tried to convince you that nothing will ever change, that no matter what you do, it always comes back, that you'll always carry this invisible heaviness. But my child, listen closely. I'm disrupting that lie right now. I'm interrupting the cycle. I'm stepping into the storm that's tormented your peace and saying, enough. Not because you figured it all out, but because I love you too much to let it continue. I'm stepping in as your rescuer, not just as your comforter. I'm healing things you didn't even know were wounded. Parts of your heart that you've ignored or shut down because feeling them was too painful. But they mattered to me. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every unanswered question. I held it all, even when you didn't know how to bring it to me. And now, I'm gathering every fragmented piece, breathing life into what you thought was dead, and declaring over you, you will rise again, not in your own strength, but in mine. Not by striving, but by surrender. I'm doing a new thing, even now. Don't try to analyze it, just receive it. Let me carry you out of this valley. Let me show you what it feels like to be truly free, deeply loved, and wholly restored. You've looked for healing in places that could only numb. You've searched for relief in things that offered temporary distraction. but nothing satisfied, because it was always me your soul longed for. And now, I'm bringing you back not to a past version of yourself, but to the one I originally designed. The one full of light, the one who walks in peace, the one who's no longer haunted by the shadows of yesterday. I'm not asking you to figure out how to feel better. I'm asking you to let me do what only I can do. Let me step into the sadness and speak life into it. Let me reach into the ache and pour peace where pain has lived too long. This is the beginning of a new chapter, not because you're forcing it, but because I've declared it. The clouds that have hovered are starting to lift, and though you may not feel it yet, trust that the shift has already begun. You're not going back to the way things were. You're not cycling through the same emotions on repeat. Something holy is happening right now, and I am at the center of it. You've spent so long trying to manage this pain, trying to contain it so it doesn't spill over into every area of your life. But I never asked you to manage it. I asked you to bring it to me. I've seen you walking through the motions while your heart screams for relief. You've learned how to function through the ache, how to smile while your soul silently mourns. But I want more for you than silent survival. I didn't form you to endure life. I formed you to live it fully. And though the darkness tried to steal your song, I've been writing a new one inside you, one note at a time. It's almost ready to rise from within, not because you pushed through, but because you finally let me take over. You've been bracing for disappointment, expecting the next wave to crash, guarding your heart so tightly that you've forgotten what it's like to be open to joy. But I'm softening what has grown hard. I'm melting the layers that sadness has built, layers that once protected you but now only isolate you. It's safe now, safe to breathe deeper, safe to hope again, safe to believe that I'm not finished with you. You don't have to be afraid of opening your heart again, not with me. I'll never mishandle it. I'll never leave you broken after you trust me. Every step you take toward me is met with arms wide open, ready to heal, ready to restore, ready to hold you steady. I haven't forgotten the promises I've made over you, even when they feel distant, even when the waiting has tried to convince you that I've moved on. I haven't. My timing isn't delay, it's preparation. You see one thread at a time, but I see the entire design. What looks like silence is often the space where I'm building something sacred inside you. It's where trust deepens. It's where old lies lose their grip. It's where you stop running and finally let me walk with you into places you've been afraid to enter alone. Don't confuse stillness with absence. I've been here all along, working, weaving, waiting for your yes, not your perfection, just your permission. You've asked me to fix the situation, but I've come to fix the root, because I love you too much to only deal with symptoms. I want the core of you to be healed. I want your identity to be rooted in my love, not your pain. I want your heart to believe, truly believe, that you're not hard to love, that you're not forgotten, that you're not too broken, too much, or too late. Those lies have echoed in your mind for too long, and I'm silencing them now with truth, my truth, the truth that says you are chosen, cherished, carried, and called, even here, even now, even in this. You've been carrying expectations that were never yours to carry, trying to be everything for everyone while you're quietly falling apart inside. But I'm calling you back to simplicity, to the kind of life where you walk with me and let that be enough. You don't have to earn love by doing more. You already have mine, fully and eternally. You don't have to fix yourself before coming to me. I'm the one who does the healing. Let go of the need to appear strong. I delight in your surrender, not your performance. Your weakness is not a liability in my hands, it's the very place I pour out strength. You've been surviving on just enough peace to get through the day, but I have more for you than momentary relief. I'm not just giving you a breath of air. I'm inviting you to live in the atmosphere of my presence. An atmosphere where anxiety can't breathe and depression has no authority. I'm calling you to shift from coping to overcoming. From just making it through the day to walking in the confidence of someone who knows they are held, seen, and loved beyond measure. This isn't about pretending the pain never existed. It's about letting me rewrite the meaning of it so it becomes a testimony instead of a torment. You've wondered if joy will ever feel real again, if the smile you wear will ever reach your soul. And the answer is yes, because I'm the one who restores. I don't recycle brokenness. I transform it. What the enemy meant for harm, I am flipping into healing. The places that once felt like graves will become gardens. The sorrow that lingered like fog will be replaced by light, warm, consistent, undeniable. I'm not just promising a better feeling, I'm promising a resurrection. And not the kind that takes years of striving, but the kind that happens when your heart finally says, "Okay, God, I'm ready to be free. I'm going to teach you how to feel safe again, how to breathe without fear gripping your chest, how to dream without dreading disappointment. I'm going to walk with you through the ruins of what once was and help you build something stronger, wiser, and more beautiful than before. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Not a single tear, not a single moment of pain. I'm redeeming it all, not by erasing the past, but by weaving it into something holy, something that will one day serve as light for someone else still walking through their night. You haven't missed your moment. You're not behind. You're not stuck. You're right on time for what I'm about to do next. And what's coming is personal. It's not a generic blessing, it's handcrafted restoration, tailored to your heart, your story, your healing. I'm not applying a formula to your pain, I'm applying my presence. And when I step in, everything changes. Stay close, stay open, don't rush this, don't try to understand every detail. Just keep saying yes, keep letting me in. And little by little, joy will begin to take root again. Peace will become familiar, hope will grow steady, and love, my love, will rewrite everything. I see the places where you've tried to hide even from yourself, those locked chambers of the heart where grief still lingers, where confusion speaks louder than faith, where your questions remain unanswered. And I am walking into those places now, not to judge you, but to hold you. You don't have to clean up the mess to invite me in. I'm already there, I'm already aware. And still, I choose to love you without hesitation. I'm not discouraged by what you feel or how long it's taken you to find peace. I'm here for the long journey, not just the breakthroughs. I'm the God who stays even when you don't know how to move forward. You've been exhausted, not just from tasks or pressure, but from carrying emotions you never gave yourself permission to feel. You've suppressed tears in public, worn smiles in private, and called it strength. But I call you strong not because you hide your pain, but because you keep showing up even when it hurts. Now, I'm inviting you to show up for yourself, to stop neglecting the healing you need because you've been trying to be the healer for everyone else. It's not selfish to tend to your soul. It's sacred, and it's time. You've mistaken survival for peace, but they are not the same. Survival numbs, peace restores. Survival distracts, peace anchors. Survival teaches you to avoid, peace teaches you to embrace. And I want to lead you into peace, not a temporary fix, but a foundation, a stillness that remains even when life shakes. You've tried to make sense of what went wrong, hoping that if you understood the past better, you'd feel more control. But peace isn't found in understanding everything, it's found in trusting me with what you can't yet explain. Faith is not the absence of pain, it's the presence of me within it. I know how the memories sometimes flood back when you're least expecting them. A scent, a phrase, a moment, and suddenly your chest tightens again. That's not a setback, it's your soul asking to be heard. Don't silence it, bring it to me. Let me walk with you through the echoes. Healing isn't linear. Sometimes it feels like going backwards before moving forward again. But I promise you, you are not regressing, you are being refined. You are learning to walk with me in the dark, and that is where real intimacy is forged. That is where faith becomes fire, not just flicker. You've prayed prayers you thought I didn't hear, cried tears you thought no one noticed. But I was there for every word, every ache, every whisper. There were moments you didn't even know what to ask for anymore. You just sat in silence, hoping for something to change. And that silence was a prayer too. I don't need eloquence to move. I respond to hearts. And your heart has moved mine deeply. I am not distant. I am not passive. I am working, even when it feels like nothing is shifting. Your breakthrough is often born in the quiet obedience of staying close. Let go of the fear that says things will always be like this. That's not your future, it's a lie that's been looping in your mind, fueled by old wounds and repeated disappointments. But this is a new chapter, a new rhythm, a new level of grace. I am teaching you how to live from a healed place, not a haunted one. You're not meant to build a home in your pain. You're meant to pass through it and find something holy on the other side. I am doing something new, and it starts not with circumstances changing, but with your inner world being restored. You've been waiting for a moment that feels different, clearer, easier, more certain. But healing often begins in the mess, in the middle of unresolved stories and unhealed scars. Stop waiting for perfect clarity before moving forward. Faith moves first. Faith says yes before the evidence appears, and I honor that kind of faith. When you take one step, I'll meet you with strength. When you take another, I'll surround you with peace. You are not walking alone. Even when you feel like you're stepping into the unknown, you're still stepping into my presence, and that is the safest place you could ever be. I know you want to believe again fully, freely, without the weight of past failures whispering what if, and you will. But belief isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a quiet whisper that simply says, maybe this time will be different. I'm fanning that whisper into a flame. I'm rebuilding what life tried to burn down. The joy you thought you lost forever is still within reach. The wonder you thought was gone is being awakened. I am not just patching up the old, I'm giving you new vision, new dreams, new reasons to wake up excited. You are not done. Your story is still unfolding. Let the pressure to be perfect fall away. I never required perfection, I invited relationship. You think I only move when you're doing everything right, but I move because you're mine. My love is not triggered by performance. It's rooted in covenant. You don't earn it, you receive it. You can stop striving, stop rehearsing your failures, stop trying to control every outcome to avoid disappointment. Come to me as you are, broken or bold, confused or confident. I take all of you, not just the parts you've deemed worthy. You are not too much. You are not too late. You are mine. And this season, this slow, painful, unclear season, it's not punishment, it's preparation. I'm not withholding to hurt you. I'm shaping you to hold more. You asked me for peace. You asked me for purpose. You asked me to lead you, and I am. Even when it feels quiet, I am guiding you through terrain that will one day become testimony. You'll look back and see how I led you with precision, with patience, with perfect love. This is not the end. This is not the middle. This is the becoming, and I'm right here in it with you. You've carried so much, for so long, that you've begun to believe this weight is a part of who you are, but it's not. The anxiety, the exhaustion, the fear, they are not your identity. They are visitors, not residents. They have stayed longer than they should, but they are not permanent. And I am speaking now to the part of you that's still hopeful beneath it all. The part that remembers how to breathe deep, how to laugh without fear, how to believe without hesitation. I am awakening that part of you again. I am calling your spirit to rise, not just to survive, but to feel alive again. There is more joy ahead than sorrow behind. But to receive it, you must be willing to release what no longer serves your becoming. That resentment, that constant self-criticism, that silent shame, it cannot go with you where I am taking you. You've gotten used to bracing for impact, expecting something bad just when things begin to feel good. That's not discernment, that's trauma. And I want to heal that too. I want to teach you that good things can stay, that peace can linger, that love can be consistent, that joy doesn't have to be earned, it can be embraced. You are safe to rest. You don't have to monitor everything, control everyone, fix every situation. You've played the role of the strong one for so long that letting go feels like failure. But it's not. It's faith, it's trust, it's wisdom. Even the strongest warriors need a place to lay down their sword, and my presence is that place. Here, you don't have to be impressive. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to say the right words. Just be. Just exhale. Just let me hold you where the world dropped you. Let me prove to you that I am not like the others who left when you needed them most. Sometimes you confuse numbness with peace, but you were not created to feel nothing. You were created to feel deeply, and still stand. I know emotions can be overwhelming, but they are not your enemy, they are signals. And when you bring them to me instead of burying them, I transform them into something sacred. I don't waste a single tear. Not one ache is ignored. I gather it all and exchange it for something eternal. That weight of unspoken grief you've carried, I see it. And I'm not asking you to explain it, only to release it. You've walked through seasons where your hope felt misplaced, where your prayers seemed to echo back empty, where others moved on and you felt left behind. But I want you to know, delay is not denial. What I'm preparing for you isn't average. It's holy, it's aligned, it's tailored for the healing of your soul. And sometimes that takes time, not to torment you, but to protect you. I'd rather hold you in waiting than rush you into something that would break you further. I'm not just orchestrating events, I'm healing you from within, so when the promise comes, you'll be ready to keep it. Let go of the timelines. Let go of the pressure to be somewhere else by now. You are not behind. You are exactly where I am moving. My pace is not like the world's. I am not anxious about your progress. I'm not rushing you into purpose while your heart is still in pieces. I want wholeness for you. Real, deep, lasting wholeness. The kind that doesn't collapse when life shakes. And that begins now, not when everything looks better, but when you realize I've already been working behind the curtain of your delays, preparing a stage of grace you never expected. There's nothing you could do to make me walk away from you. Nothing you've felt, done, thought, or feared has scared me off. I am not repelled by your humanity. I became human to redeem it. I stepped into time so you could step into freedom. I bore the weight of shame so you wouldn't have to keep wearing it. My love is not fragile. My faithfulness doesn't flinch when you falter. You are safe here, in my arms, in my process, in my mercy. I am not disappointed in your pace. I celebrate every small step, every whispered prayer, every tear turned into trust. I've seen you hold back your praise because you thought you had to wait until things looked better. But what if I told you that worship in the wilderness carries a fragrance that heaven never forgets? That even your faintest hallelujah shakes the darkness? You don't have to feel strong to be faithful. You don't have to feel fearless to be surrendered. Bring me your authentic self, not your polished mask. Let your praise be raw, your trust be shaky, your offering be real. I meet you in the mess, not just the miracle. Your story is not too dark for my light. Your wounds are not too deep for my healing. Your past is not too tangled for my grace. I specialize in redemption. I delight in making broken things beautiful again. What you see as ruin, I see as foundation. What you call too late, I call right on time. Don't compare your healing to someone else's highlight reel. I'm not rushing you to look okay. I'm inviting you to be real so you can become whole. I will not shame you into transformation. I will love you into it. And you don't have to do this alone. I am placing people in your life who will speak life, who will remind you of your worth, who will walk with you even when it's hard. You don't have to carry this quietly anymore. Healing happens in honesty, and honesty happens in safe places. I am one of those places, and I will also provide others. Community is not a luxury, it's part of your restoration. Let me surprise you with relationships that don't drain you but nourish you. Connections that don't manipulate but protect. Friendships that don't judge but reflect my heart. You've grown so used to expecting disappointment that even when my blessings begin to form around you, your instinct is to prepare for them to vanish. But I did not bring you this far to abandon you now. I am not setting you up for heartbreak. I am setting you free from the belief that everything good has an expiration date. You have lived in survival mode for too long, watching the sky, waiting for storms, questioning the calm. I want to restore your trust, not just in me, but in the rhythm of life again. You were made for more than bracing yourself for the worst. Let me rebuild your confidence, not the kind the world sells you, rooted in pride or performance, but the kind that's born from being deeply known and still deeply loved. You don't need applause to be valuable. You don't need approval to be seen. I chose you before the world ever had an opinion, and I am still choosing you, again and again, even on the days when you can't choose yourself. That inner war you fight, the voice that tells you you're not enough, it's not from me. I speak peace, not panic. I speak hope, not harm. You've looked in the mirror and wondered where the vibrant version of yourself went. The one who dreamed big, loved easily, laughed freely. But I want you to know that part of you is not gone. It's been buried beneath the weight of grief, disappointment, and silent battles. And I'm digging that person out with care. I'm calling back your essence, not just fixing your image. I'm healing the you that the world tried to edit. You don't have to perform to be worthy of joy. You just have to be present. Let yourself return. Let your soul come alive again. I know what you haven't told anyone. I know the questions you hold close to your chest, the fears you dress up in logic, the wounds that still pulse under a smile. And I'm not asking you to be unbreakable, I'm asking you to be honest. Because when you bring me the truth, I meet you with tenderness. I never despise your struggle. I never roll my eyes at your emotions. I never tell you to get over it. I sit with you. I hold you. I whisper life back into places that were growing silent. You are not too much for me. There are days when you feel like a burden, when your needs feel like inconveniences, when your presence feels too heavy for others. But hear me clearly. I created you with intention. Every part of you, your personality, your desires, your sensitivity was crafted on purpose. You are not too much. You are just enough for what I've called you to carry. You don't have to shrink to be loved. You don't have to dim to be accepted. Stand in your full light. The world may not have always known what to do with someone like you, but I do. I always have. Let go of the fear that if you stop striving, everything will fall apart. You were not created to be your own savior. You were created to walk in step with me. I never meant for you to do this life on your own strength. When you collapse into my grace, that's not weakness, that's wisdom. I am not overwhelmed by your limitations. I am drawn to them. Because it is in your limits that my power is made perfect. So breathe. Lay down the burden of trying to earn what I've already freely given. Let grace carry you where grit can't. I want you to dream again, not cautiously, not halfway, but boldly. I want you to envision a life where you wake up with purpose, where peace isn't rare, where love doesn't hurt, and joy isn't fleeting. I want you to know that such a life is not reserved for someone else. It's available to you, and I'm building it with every small yes, every act of trust, every tear you refuse to let define you. Your future is not on hold. It's unfolding right now. And the best part? You don't have to figure it all out. You just have to follow me. You don't need a plan B when you walk with me. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I've gone ahead of you and prepared paths you haven't even imagined yet. I am closing doors that would have hurt you and opening ones that will heal you. Trust that I see farther than you. Trust that what looks like rejection is actually protection. That what feels like waiting is divine preparation. I am not in a rush. I'm building something that will last, not something that just looks good for a moment. Trust the pace. Trust the process. Trust me. This season you're in may feel hidden, quiet, even forgotten. But it's sacred. It's not a punishment. It's a pause. A place of formation, not failure. The soil looks still, but deep roots are growing. You're learning patience, endurance, and how to hear my voice without noise. When the next chapter begins, you'll look back on this one and realize it wasn't empty, it was essential. I'm not wasting your stillness. I'm meeting you in it. Don't rush through what I'm using to strengthen you. There is gold in the unseen. Let me show you how to find it. You are not the same person you were when you started this journey. Even if you feel stuck, you've grown. You've become more tender, more perceptive, more dependent on me, and that is victory. Don't measure your progress by outward results alone. Look at your heart. Look at your prayers. Look at how much quicker you are to return to me, even after you fall. That's transformation. That's grace in motion. And it's beautiful. I'm proud of you not just for the moments you shine, but for the moments you choose. Me in the dark. You're doing better than you think. I know how much you've tried to stay strong for everyone else. You carry their pain like your own, and you rarely let anyone see when your heart is tired. But I see it. I see how your soul bends under silent expectations, how you pour from your cup even when it's empty, and how you convince yourself that you're fine because others need you to be. Let me say this to you clearly. I never asked you to save the world. That is my role. I didn't call you to sacrifice your peace to prove your love. Your worth is not measured by how exhausted you are. Let me fill the places you keep draining. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. I'm not disappointed when you come to me broken. I don't expect perfection. I expect honesty. And when you open your heart without filters, without pretense, I pour myself into you in ways that restore more than your strength. I restore your sense of being. Your identity is not built on how well you hold everything together. It is built on the truth that even when you fall apart, I remain faithful. You've been waiting for someone to truly understand you. Not just tolerate you, not just support you out of obligation, but really understand the language of your soul. I do. I always have. I knew the words you would never be able to speak, and I still translated your tears into prayers. I saw the cracks in your laughter, the fatigue in your silence, the cries behind your confidence. I've never misread you. You've never needed to explain yourself to me. I know, and I love you. Not in spite of the complexity, but because of it. You are my masterpiece. Every day that you feel like you're barely making it, I'm proud of you. Not because you're perfect, but because you show up. You choose not to give in to darkness, even when it feels easier. You keep hoping, even when it's fragile. You keep loving, even when your heart is sore. And I celebrate that. I celebrate your resilience, your tenderness, your bravery. You think your efforts are invisible, but they echo in eternity.